Hey there, this is Nitro Nick here with you again, and I'm here with a 2012 Ford Escape.
And as you can see, it's very SUV-like. Very slab-sided, classic two-box design. But I'm not here to talk about the 2012 Ford Escape. I'm here to talk about Ford's all-new 2013 model.
As you can see, it's a big design departure.
The 2013 Escape is a very different car. Gone is the boxiness and the slab-sidedness in favor of radical sweeping curves running throughout the body,
For a much more modern crossover kind of look.
The direction of Ford's styling has gotten much more modern, more aggressive, and more angular. It sort of reminds me of Mazda's design language, but a little bit more restrained.
While it looks leaner, surprisingly enough, the Escape is actually bigger than the 2012 model, offering a longer wheelbase for an additional 1.2 inches of legroom in the back seat. For the 2013 model year, the range of engines for the Escape is as radical as the body. Gone is the old standby 3.0-liter V6. Instead, you've got three different four-cylinder engines to choose from. At the bottom of the barrel is a naturally aspirated, or non-turbo, four-cylinder, good for just a paltry 168 horsepower. Now, if you step up to the turbocharged 1.6-liter EcoBoost mill, that brings you to 178 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque, which isn't bad, but it's not quite enough for a crossover like the Escape if you're going to be going anywhere with hills. Our SE model today, however, is equipped with the top-of-the-range 2.0-liter EcoBoost 4, good for 240 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque. Not bad torque figures for a 4-pot engine, don't you think? So, let's start it up. Now, in our around-town testing, our Escape has been averaging about 20.5 miles per gallon, which is actually pretty respectable considering that this is a four-wheel drive, 3,700-pound SUV. It's actually pretty fair considering that the competition, the Toyota RAV4, the Kia Sportage, Hyundai Santa Fe, and so on, are all going to get very similar mileage. But the differential here is that the power is drastically different. We have 240 horsepower at our disposal. The only thing in the segment that's going to do better than the Escape would be the Mazda CX-5. But the trade-off with the Mazda CX-5, you get fantastic mileage, yes, but you trade that for power. Now, in an SUV, or if you live somewhere where you're going to be dealing with hills or towing anything, that's not something you want to deal with. 155 horsepower just isn't enough for something this heavy. We're in our second week here with our long-term test Escape, and we decided to see if we could do something to improve the mileage. Now, we've replaced the air filter with a standard K&N drop-in style air filter, and the mileage actually has significantly improved. Our around-town mileage has gone up from 20.3 miles a gallon to where it is currently at 24.6 miles per gallon around town. A K&N air filter will probably run you about $50, but if you're going to own this car, it's definitely a worthwhile investment. Our 2013 Escape SE is equipped with Ford's optional intelligent four-wheel drive system, which should really be called an all-wheel drive system as it's always active. The system monitors traction and cornering conditions at all four wheels and then adjusts torque output to the front or rear to ensure optimal traction in any weather condition, and also enhances cornering capabilities. Neatly enough, that little info window in between your gauge cluster also contains a readout showing you how the power is being directed to each of the four wheels. Check it out here as we navigate a snowy road near Big Bear. is actually all new. It's underpinned by the European Ford Kuga, which is also a platform mate of the Focus. Now, this car actually handles pretty well. The manners are actually quite nice, and as far as fun to drive goes, I mean, the only thing that's going to be more responsive and more fun to drive might be the CX-5, but I may have to disagree with that. It's certainly going to be much more fun to drive than, say, the disconnected and floaty Honda CR-V or either of its Korean competition. The 6-speed automatic transmission that Ford's using for the 13 Escape is noticeably smoother as opposed to the 12 model. I didn't feel like it shifted a whole lot smoother than the CX-5 per se, but I felt like the two transmissions would be comparable. Now we're going to take a kind of aggressive corner here. We're not getting any tire squeal on the factory tires. The car feels planted, the steering is responsive and communicative, and the engine packs the gusto we need to just easily just give the throttle a nice little goose, and bam, we're going 80 miles an hour and we're cruising with the rest of traffic like there's no problem at all. I felt like getting up to speed and time on the freeway might be a challenge in other vehicles in the bracket, such as the Honda CR-V or the 4-cylinder Toyota RAV4. Now, something else to talk about here while we're on the freeway is that the freeway noise is actually pretty good. I mean, we don't have a lot of tire noise, we're not running the radio or anything, and the interior is still pretty quiet. Now, mind you, don't expect a Rolls Royce, but as far as Fords go, it's quite good. At 240 horsepower and 3,700 pounds, the four-wheel drive 2-liter EcoBoost Escape never quite accelerates like a sports car, but it's never a slouch either. Without any help from me manually shifting the transmission or anything like that, the car shifted itself perfectly right where it should at redline at 6,500 RPM. Of course, no review of the Escape would be complete without a thorough look at its interior. The driver's seat of the 2013 Escape is a comfortable place to be. The steering wheel is supple and full, while the instrumentation is crisp and clear. You've got information displays every which way, and then you've got tons of controls for all the little goodies that the car has to offer, all of it catered specifically to you, the driver. Much like the outgoing model, the rear seat splits 60-40 and does fold flat, although the rear seat is thinner than the previous model, allowing the rear seats to fold flatter than they have previously. In addition to the extra space, you'll also find a floor-mounted storage compartment in the back seat. While the exterior of the Escape is thoroughly modern, the real story is here, on the interior. Now, when I first heard about this vehicle in the Ford press releases, they talked about ice blue lighting, and I wasn't quite sure what that meant. But now seeing the car at night, I see what they mean. If you take a look at all the switches, all the switchgear here has this very nice little ice blue kind of shade to it. And then you see that same ice blue shade repeated again in the gauge cluster needles, although the numerations of the gauge cluster itself is a very nice crisp white. With the Escape, it's a lot of little features that add up to a lot. The 9-speaker surround sound system, the sync, the 4-wheel drive, the EcoBoost, the smooth 6-speed automatic transmission. All these little features here and there add up to a really great package. So, in short, if you want a capable 4-wheel drive little trucklet, it's not going to be too terrible on your pocketbook, but also going to be entertaining to drive, pleasant to drive thanks to the surround sound system, and the ride, the Escape's going to be the car for you. Now, if fuel economy is going to be your number one concern, and you're not super worried about the price tag of it, but more concerned with the efficiency, the CX-5 is going to be the car for you. But in general, for day-to-day life, the Escape is going to be the car that you're happier with. You're never short on power, and you're never left wanting, and that's important. When you're spending $30,000 on a car, you want to feel like you're getting your money's worth. And as far as the Escape is concerned, it's an excellent value for the money. Anyways, I'm Nitro Nick, and I hope that this review has been helpful for you.